Hi guys, good evening all of you. Here it is Sanjay Bharadwaj, Senior Faculty of History, and I have been taking classes of history for the last 18 years, both history optional and GS module. And before starting the topic, you guys try to understand the basic definition of history. Unless you know the definition of history, you cannot write a good answer. So what is history? History is understanding of forces of changes and forces of continuity which bring transformation in society. So guys, keep in your mind, don't think like this history is simply collection of events into chronological order. So what is history? History So what is history, guys? In UPSC or PSC, once you carry this approach, I can assure you, it will make your answer on a proper track. So what is history? History is understanding of forces of changes plus forces of continuity which bring transformation in society. So guys, whatever topic you are studying, either ancient history or medieval history or modern history, always try to keep in your mind that in every topic, which are the forces which are bringing changes and which are the forces which are bringing continuity and how they are bringing transformation. What transformations? History has only these transformations: social transformations, political transformations, economical transformations, and lastly you can say cultural transformation. I am giving you just example, try to catch this point. Just see, in the ancient history, this discovery of iron So what are forces of changes which are change? It may be discovery, it may be some invention, it may be some movement, it may be some legislations. So discoveries and inventions, these are forces of changes. Just see guys, how discovery of iron will bring change in history. Once iron got discovered in the Indian subcontinent around 1000 BC, this discovery will bring transformation like this, See first what transformation is coming in the economic perspective. Once iron is coming, the first fundamental change is coming in the economy of India was surplus production, surplus agricultural production. Agricultural production, and this surplus production is coming. Automatically you can think what is coming next in the economics perspective. birth of urban centers, because once surplus is coming, urban centers, market centers, then money economy, banking institutions, so guys, see how you have to study history in this way. I am giving you just an example. This discovery of iron technology was a turning point in the history. Once it got discovered, see how the economic perspectives are gradually changing. It is coming around the 6th century BC. In 6th century BC, that is fine, India is witnessing these sweeping changes. What is coming in political perspective? We can discuss here. Political perspective. Once surplus production is coming, the early Vedic term called as Jana got transformed into Janpad. So guys, you may be aware, in the first phase, early Vedic period, there is nowhere the term Janpad is used. Janpad means political state. So once surplus economy is coming, the term in political field, we find sweeping changes coming. India is having the birth of modern political states. And again, you can catch this point. Once Janpad is coming, you may be aware, iron is found especially in the eastern India, that is Bihar, Jharkhand and the parts of the West Bengal. That is why after the coming of the iron technology, India witnessed the birth of 16 Mahajanpadas, and you may be surprised to know, among these 16, around a dozen are taking birth in the Gangetic Plain, that is the eastern part of India. What change is coming next? It means finally a birth of modern political states, plus you can say imperialism is coming, political imperialism is coming. Hereditary monarchy. Earlier king was governing over a tribe, but now the king will govern the Janpad. Then political field you find imperialism is coming. Along with this we can say that king is becoming autocratic. Autocracy is the development on the post-iron technology. See what is coming next. In the social field, what change is coming? Birth of the caste system. Birth of the caste system is coming because, you know, guys, in the early Vedic period, as such, there is no caste system. Society was egalitarian. But once surplus economy is coming, society is having some turmoil. Hence, automatically, society has evolved a system of appropriation of surplus. You can say like this, birth of caste system. Why the caste system is taking birth? To appropriate the surplus. And soon the society got divided into the haves and have-nots. Similarly, in the cultural field, we find once the iron technology is coming, in the cultural religious field we find some fundamental changes are coming. Now these rituals, sacrificial cult, polytheism, lost their significance, guys, because, you know, once iron technology is coming, agriculture is becoming surplus. You don't have time to waste in rituals, sacrifices and the polytheism. Now the concept of monotheism is coming. All these has been criticized. So guys, the point is that Don't try to cram history in isolation. Always try to search out what is the forces of changes and what is forces of continuity. So when we say forces of changes, it means inventions, discoveries, legislations, movements. Go and see the whole history. Either of them may be there. And what is forces of continuity? Customs, values, traditions, these are called as forces of continuity. So just coming to the point. So here I am going to discuss the nature of the BPSC mains history optional paper. I can assure you, by following a systematic approach, you can easily score more than 70% mark, that is around 210 marks out of 300. So first try to understand the nature of history optional paper. Nature of history optional paper, and here we are discussing especially the BPSC. As you may be aware, it is having only a single paper. It is not like UPSC, we are having two papers, history optional paper, paper 1 and paper 2. So guys, here in BPSC, my advice is that it requires a very specific preparation. You don't have to scatter yourself. Try to go through the last year papers. Oftenly the majority of questions are repeated. So first try to understand the nature. Then BPSC optional paper means, the total marks, I think you are well aware, it is around 300, it is 300 marks. See how it is very specific. Here we have two sections. Section 1. In section 1 we have two parts. Part A. Part A, guys, comprises of ancient history. And this part is having 3 questions. To try to understand this point, part A is having 3 questions, and part B, which comprises medieval history, it also has 3 questions. And there is a limitation that you cannot attempt more than 2 questions from each part. You cannot attempt more than 2 questions from each part. It means at least you have to touch 1 question from each part. So together we are having 12 questions, 3 from ancient, 3 from medieval. Then in the part 2 we are having 3 from modern history and 3 from world history. And in the instructions they have clearly provided that you cannot do more than 2 questions from each part. It clearly proves that you have to attempt at least 1 question from each part. But here my advice is that in this ancient history component, try to attempt 2 questions from ancient and 1 from medieval. There is a reason for it. Because in ancient history, the debates on different perspectives are very less in comparison with the debates in the medieval history. And if there are large number of debates, chances of giving a model answer, it became very challenging. Similarly, in modern history and the world history, the same is the reason. In modern history and world history, try to attempt 2 questions from world history and 1 from modern history. Again, the same answer. In modern history, we have a lot of debates, lot of perspectives. Hence, it become very difficult. We cannot say difficult, but we can say it become very challenging to write a model answers. So it becomes easier for you to make your answer near to the perfection. That is why try to catch this point. So guys, here we are discussing the nature of the this paper BPSC basically, and now we are discussing the component ancient history. Since you will have 3 questions, and here you may surprise to know the 4 topics in the ancient history. Every year you will find at least out of these 4 topics 2 questions will be there. So in ancient history, these are the core topics. Where you will oftenly find at least 2 questions will come from these core topics. Although in ancient history syllabus start from prehistory, but BPSC rarely asks questions on the prehistory. So what are the core topics? First is Indus Valley Civilization, which is a turning point in the history of India. We witnessed the first time the urbanized society, urbanized civilization. The second topic, core topic in the ancient history is the Buddhist period. Oftenly, every year, you can find a question from here, and this question has a significance with the history of Bihar also. You know, the 6th century BC in the history of India is also called as the first Renaissance in the history of India. Why Renaissance? Because new thoughts and philosophies were coming to resolve the crisis, turmoil brought by the iron technology. Society was in the position in the phase of transition, because first time materialistic economy was coming, urbanization was coming, liberty was coming, individualism was coming. Hence, this Buddhist age, that is the age of intellectual revolution or Renaissance, try to give an answer how you can live a balanced life with the materialism. So guys, oftenly you can find a question from here, because this question has a significance with the history of Bihar also. Bihar was a state of intellectualism, you know. That is why the question 5 is coming from here. Buddhist phase or Buddhist age, whatever you can say. So try to focus on these core topics. Then you can go for miscellaneous topics or micro topics. The first is IBC, second is Buddhist phase, and third is Mauryan period. Again, this topic is having a special connection with the history of Bihar. Mauryan period, that is from first time India is witnessing a pan-Indian empire under the Mauryas. And last year in BPSC the same question was asked, that the Kalinga war was a turning point in the history of India. So guys, third topic is this, and the fourth topic is Gupta period. So in ancient history, try to focus on these 4 topics. I can assure you, at least you will find 2 questions from it. And every topic has a significance. IBC signifies the first phase of urbanization. This signifies the first Renaissance in the history of India. Don't think like this, Renaissance is coming only in the British period. Why we can say Renaissance is coming in British period? Britishers try to glamorize their empire. That is why we say Renaissance is coming in British India. We can say like this, Indian history is having 3 Renaissance. It is the first Renaissance Buddhist. Second Renaissance, we can say Bhakti movement can be called as a second Renaissance, that is 13th century when India got witness Islamic minority state. And third Renaissance was triggered by Ram Mohan and Dayanand. So guys, don't take history in a traditional way. UPSC and BPSC requires an innovative approach. You can call this period as the first Renaissance in the history of India. You can say like this, this phase was the first phase of Renaissance. And even BPSC can ask you to in this way, whether we can categorize Buddhist period in the history of India as the first Renaissance. So be aware of it. Mauryan period means first time we have a pan-Indian empire which was working on the principles of Arthashastra. And why is this Gupta period is important? Because Gupta period, which is also categorized as a golden period or golden phase in the history of India, had preserved, promoted and cemented the Indian culture. Whatever Dharam Shastras, Puranas and categorization of this Ramayana and Mahabharata, it means Gupta period contributed in preserving, promotion and cementing of Indian culture. And guys, I can assure you, if this topic could be missing in the history of India, probably Indian culture could have been not so strong like it exists today, because they had given a new shape and strong roots to the Indian culture. And I think you may be also aware, first time the definition of geographical definition of India was categorized by the Guptas. In Mahabharata and Vishnu Puran, the definition has been preserved. See, in this way, that is why every topic is having significance. So I think it is very clear. In ancient history, go for these 4 core topics. Beside this, you can go for some micro topics also. So beside this core topics, you can also cover some micro topics like contribution of Pallavas, they were governing in Deccan and South India. They are also called the Great Pallavas, just preceding the Great Cholas. And first time India witnessed the birth of self-governing bodies. Beside this Pallavas, you can go for growth of feudalism. So along with this, you can go for micro topic, you can go for growth of Brahminical literature, foreign travelers. It is possible that you can also find a question from these micro topics. So guys, these were the core topics and micro topics. Later when we will discuss in detail, we will discuss one by one. So now we can come to the second component of section 1, that is part B. Part B, as you may be aware, comprises of medieval history. So here, as I will advise you, in medieval history, try to attempt only one question, because here we have a lot of debates, a lot of historians are not having consensus on different issues. So here, try to attempt only one question to see what topics are the core topics. So first, try to have a command over the core topics, then you can go for some micro topics. The core topics in medieval history, it starts with Bhakti and Sufi movement, of 13th 14th century. So guys, this is a turning point again in the history. We can call this phase as second Renaissance. You can use these terms in your answer writing, it will help you a lot. Although in traditional historical writing, we have called only the 19th century as the Renaissance. But in answer writing, you can keep this point. Buddhist period can be called as the first Renaissance. Bhakti movement can be called as second Renaissance. Renaissance means the birth of new thoughts. Why? To resolve the crisis of that phase. Because India witnessed the birth of a minority Islamic state. Society was witnessing some conflict and assimilation, and the answer was given by these saints. Next core topic in medieval history, since in medieval history we have two core parts, Sultanate and Mughal history. Beside this we have Maratha history. Secondly, you can go for in Sultanate period, try to focus on these two kings especially. One is Alauddin Khilji, who was famous for his market policies and autocratic policies. Alauddin Khilji plus Firoz Tughlaq and MBT, that is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So the Sultanate period, try to focus on these three periods, and along with this, in Mughal period, focus on the fundamental changes brought by Akbar, who was governing medieval India in this period. Because whatever Mughal administration we are having in the history, it was brought by Akbar. And next is Aurangzeb. That is, to go through the fundamental changes, political, social, economical changes brought in the period of Akbar Aurangzeb, I can assure you, at least you can get a one question. So don't try to scatter yourself. BPSC is such a, guys, you are very lucky because BPSC requires such a very specific preparation. You don't have to scatter here and there. Go to the last 5 years papers, try to search make your priorities, which area you want to focus, and prepare accordingly. So these are the core topics in medieval history. And beside this, under micro topics, in medieval you can also go for some micro topics like Mansabdari system, Mansabdari, we can write clearly, it is Akbar had given a new shape suitable to the Indian circumstances. Although it is said it was Genghis Khan in the world history who had first time categorized his bureaucracy, but Akbar gave a new shape to suit the Indian circumstances. So now micro topics, you can go for this. Then foreign travelers coming in the medieval India, how they had contributed. Then you can go for Jagirdari system. So first try to focus on the core areas, then you can go for some micro topics. Guys, now we can come to the part B. In part B, section B, we can say like this. It is section B. We have again two parts, that is modern and world. So here in modern history of India, which is supposed to, it is a turning point in the history of India, Battle of Plassey. Till the independence. And then we have post-independence. So in this 200 years of colonial empire, in modern history, try to focus on these core topics. So in BPSC, especially focus on these core topics. In this 200 years of colonial rule, the first core topic is, you can go for different policies of the English company. Oftenly, every year you can find a question from this theme. Last year in BPSC, a question was arise, what were the needs of the English company to bring some social policy, to interfere in the social customs of the Indians. So it was different policies of the English company. So here you will find different policies of the English company. Here you can say like this, economic policy, which is very, very important. Every year you will find at least one question from here. Here we land revenue, drain of wealth, commercialization of agriculture. So you have to go all these topics coming under the economic policies. Then social policy. So guys, this is very important. Try to cover these core topics in a specific and in-depth way, so that you can write a model answer in these core topics. So different policies of the English company: economic policy, social policy, educational policy, education. Beside these policies of the English company, next core topic in modern history is revolt of 1857. And peasant tribal uprising. So here, even the last year, the same question was arise in BPSC mains, how far it is correct to say that the revolt of 1857 signifies conflict between modernization and conservative forces. And the third core topics, here you can go for only focus on this theme, national movements. And here we have only three core movements, that is NCM, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and Quit India movement. So guys, these are the core topics in modern history. Similarly, we can say the core topics coming in the world history will be like this. The world history is coming in part B. Of section 2. In this world history, try to cover these core topics. And the core topics are like this. Renaissance in Europe. Why this topic is a turning point? Because first time in the history of the Europe, basically, medieval phase is going away and the modernization of Europe started. It gave birth to the humanism, it gave birth to the individualism. It also brought man at the center, Earlier, before Renaissance, God was at the center. Everything was contributed to the God. But this Renaissance brought, it means, why it is important? Because now man came at the center stage. That is why inventions, discoveries, growth of different sciences will start. Earlier, before Renaissance, God was in the central stage. Everything, not only science, math, everything was contributed to the God. Hence, society was witnessing stagnation, degradation. And finally, we have Renaissance, which brought man in the center stage. That is why this topic has a significance. The first topic is Renaissance. Second topic is Industrial Revolution. Guys, this is a turning point in the history of the world. It had not influenced only the European history, it had also influenced the history of colonies. India also got influenced by it. So here again, this is a core topic. First time in the history of the world, we are having the birth of modern industries. And the third core topic is this American Revolution and the French Revolution. Study both the topics and try to compare both of them, American and French Revolution. So guys, you may surprised to know, see the term, all the three are revolution: Industrial Revolution, American Revolution, French Revolution. All the three had given a new vision to the world history. American Revolution is significant because first time in the history of the world, the principles of enlightenment, that is liberty, equality, democratic values, separation of power, whatever they were, they came into practice in the American Constitution after the Revolution. And why French Revolution is important? Because it gave birth to the concept called as modern states. In this way, before the French Revolution, we have the nation of a king, but now we are having a nation of society. And the next core topic is the two world wars. So guys, in the world history, don't try to scatter yourself. Cover these core topics and I can assure you, at least you can get a 2 question from here. Now, coming to the last point of discussion here. So guys, in BPSC, you may surprise to know, although all students are having the same resources, you are having the same types of textbooks, same types of coaching, same types of more or less coachings are more or less same. But here at Moby Shala, why we are unique? Because here we will discuss an approach how you can, scientific approach how you can score beyond 60 and 65% mark in the optional papers. So my classes are available at Moby Shala app. You can register there itself. And the last point of discussion here is that in your answer writing, try to catch out the meaning and the need of the question. It is very important. Why some students are getting 70% marks, some students are getting 40% marks? The reason is that they are unable to trace out what is the demand of the question. So I will discuss in my next lectures. Okay guys, wish you all the best.